Another one of my shoddy attempts at doing an intro. I really think it's like kind of important to have a song intro if anyone's gonna like pay attention or stay listening. But yeah, I don't know. It's February 20th. Oh, I'm sorry, it's February 5th. And it looks like it might be a nice day today. I've been sleeping pretty well, but last night not so much, and I don't really know why I didn't sleep well last night. But I was up very early this morning. It is 8:30 a.m. and I've been up for 2 hours, so 6:30. Yeah, sometimes those mornings are good though. You get a lot done. I think sometimes if I'm like laying awake trying to go back to sleep, yeah, I usually never can. It's better to just get up and get going. Anyways, I haven't casted on here in a while. The other show that Mike and I have been doing, I've kind of been super busy, and so our schedules have been hard to like link up, and yeah, I didn't sleep much, so I'm struggling with words this morning. Yeah, but I don't know. Some mornings I have a lot of thoughts about her that are sad, and some mornings I have a lot of thoughts about her that are really happy and joyful, and those sometimes make me feel sad. And then sometimes the thoughts that I have about her that on paper written down would sound like a topic that would make you very sad, don't make me sad, make me feel something different, maybe grateful. But before I get too far, I'm going to play a clip of her laughing again. I know I've done this once before, but I think it was probably over a year ago. Yeah, so here's a clip of Rachel laughing because we're staying at this hotel we used to like to stay at in Hadley, and I'm just being ridiculous, so this is her laughing.
Please don't stop doing that.
I don't know if you can hear that.
Stop
it. I like that clip. That was supposed to play out of my Bluetooth speaker so you could hear it louder. And so I'm going to play it again, just one more time. It's a short clip, and it's super funny to me. So I'm going to see if I can get connected and try again. There it is. Yeah, I'm going to play one more time, see what happens.
Stop doing that. Please don't stop doing that. Stop it.
Oh, I love it. If you're watching this and you're me and you're listening to her laugh, it's pretty funny because it makes me think of why on earth she was with me. Like, in that clip, I look thoroughly ridiculous and extremely overweight. I don't look good. And I don't know. I was just bouncing on the bed like a big goof, but yeah, I miss her laugh. And it's funny, you'd think that in a case like this, when you really miss somebody, you'd think that it's weird that it's 2020 when I say that it's 2020 right now. and knowing she died in 2018, it still hasn't been 2 years. And the first year was really, really hard. But the second year, at the beginning of this second year, was harder. And her dad agrees. And I think her mom would agree too, and possibly her brothers. And her father said it, described it, said the perfect thing. It feels more permanent. So the first holiday without them, you just feel lost. You're not sure, and so it's almost, there's something safe about knowing it's the first holiday without them, knowing that people know you're experiencing the first holiday without them, and there's some comfort there. But the second holiday, people don't want to, like I've said before, people's capacity for your grieving is usually, it's usually pretty low. People will allot you some time, and that's it. So the second holiday, they don't want to. They're hoping you've healed, and you're the new person, and you're now this new person who's come to terms with having holidays without your loved one. And and I think it's about their comfort. It's about the world's comfort. People want to feel comfortable. So, one of the big things that I find my family and some of my friends anxious to see me do is to find someone else. Now, before I started therapy, which I just started recently, side note, it's extremely helpful to have a dedicated listener, and also someone who's trained in dealing with trauma and grief, to tell you that you're normal and the things you're experiencing are not out of the norm. I was feeling very stuck. I just didn't know, just stuck. I couldn't get past certain things, and I blame it on outside things that have nothing to do with grief, like my dissatisfaction with my occupational life, like financial life, things like that. My health that I ignored for so long. So I think now that's what I'm dealing with, is my mental health, and looking at taking steps to fix those problems, occupationally and everything. So that's what this second half of year 2 or what will be year 2 has become for me, is about my health and my mental state, and my just my dental health, everything I'm addressing. So but the thought that I had this morning was, in one of the most amazing thoughts, when I think back, I wanted to not have regrets, because I think the worst thing is regretting. I have tons of regrets in my life about things I've done. But I think sometimes worse is having a regret for something you didn't do. I think that can be worse sometimes, because the things I did, the choices I made that I regret, brought on experiences. I made choices to live a certain way when I was young, to try certain things. And it brought me a tremendous amount of pain, my family a tremendous amount of pain, but it also brought me a tremendous amount of unique experience. So I think sometimes when you have a regret for something you didn't do, the not knowing is harder than regretting something that you did and you're aware of what the outcome was. It's easier to move on from that, but moving on from something you didn't do is a very empty feeling, because you will never know what it would have happened if you did do that. So it's two different things. And when Rachel died, I was very lucky that I got to spend a year and a half with her during her treatment, very close to her, but and I convinced myself that maybe at least I don't have regrets for that year and a half. But as time goes on, no matter what, you'll have regrets. Everyone has them. Like, you could spend every second next to that person, and you'd still focus on the moments that you weren't with them, or think of things. There are things that I truly regret that I've expressed on here. But in the same token, comparatively to other people who have lost someone, I've been extremely lucky. My situation was extremely lucky. Overall, having a person that you love who's 33 years old be diagnosed with terminal cancer, that's not lucky, is what I'm saying. I'm saying in my loss, I was lucky enough to be able to say the things, to say goodbye. And it's very rare when you have a grieving person who had the chance to do that. And I think about the people who have lost a child, like Ray's mom, Ray's dad. And I can't compare my grief to theirs. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. It's unnatural. Nobody's supposed to lose their child. It's just the most unnatural, terrible thing on earth. And I have a friend of mine when I was young, a friend of the group of friends I was in, Laura Metris. She was among like the close group of friends that I grew up with in high school and before high school. And her father died young, too young, of cancer. I think when we were in our 20s, and then she passed away this year, right around Christmas. So I think about her mom and that grief that her mom is going through. Her mom posted something on Facebook, and I wanted to comment. I understand. She was talking about songs and things that mean that get you when you're missing somebody, and I wanted to comment, but I can't compare my grief to hers. I know I can't. She's missing the person that she created. That's a whole nother. Everybody's grief is unique, but also everybody's grief is. There's no one. I think you can't judge anyone's grief ever, but talking to the therapist and her saying this is totally normal. I was thinking that after a year I should be moving on and dating and everything, and I tried to do that after past the year mark, and it didn't work out, and I was kicking myself for that. I was getting down on myself, having tried and saying, well, it didn't work out, I'm not ready, and I thought there was something wrong with me and that I was stuck, but apparently it's very normal. And there are people who she gave me a timeline, the grieving process takes 3 to 8 years or something, or I don't think that's the number, but she did give me a number.